Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really interesting look into human nature, faith,
And
forgiveness.
we're doing it through a pretty unusual source, right?
Exactly. It's a church play, of all things.
Mm.
Hilarious in parts, deeply dramatic in others, called Unmasked.
Yeah.
And our mission here is to really unpack this story. It's about a public figure's huge fall from grace, but also this unexpected path to redemption.
Mm.
We want to pull out some powerful ideas about, hypocrisy, judgment, and what grace maybe actually looks like.
And it's fascinating because even though it is a play, the themes just hit so close to home, appearances versus reality
Totally.
and how real change can start in, well, some pretty unexpected places, sometimes chaotic ones.
Oh, definitely chaotic. Which brings us straight into Act One, the performer and the vulnerable.
Okay.
So, Pastor James introduces this guy, Brother Daniel. He calls him a spiritual general, the prayer secretary.
Right. The description is almost comical. So anointed, even demons check the church bulletin.
Huh, exactly. And Daniel makes this grand entrance, like a rock star, soaking up the applause. Then these huge theatrical prayers start.
He even jokes about getting extra spiritual gifts from the angelic committee. It's all very performative.
But the play immediately shows us the other side, doesn't it?
Instantly. Right there, mid-prayer, while he's shouting about fire, his phone starts
A
buzzing.
text's coming in. He tries to ignore it.
And you see the screen, right? Babe, you stood me up again. He shoves away, yells, Satan, you shall not distract me.
And meanwhile, his poor PA is whispering frantically.
Whispering about Babe 2 at the back gate, Babe 4 in the parking lot, Babe 1 threatening to tell the pastor. It's pure chaos behind the scenes.
And the irony is, Pastor James just sees Daniel shouting and thinks, wow, what spiritual fervor.
Completely oblivious. It's a really sharp way the play sets up this massive disconnect. This idea that the outward show can be just paper thin.
It really drives home that point about performative piety, doesn't it? What do you think the playwright is really aiming for there, right at the start?
I think it's setting up that core idea immediately. This kind of spiritual showmanship, it's fragile, it's often masked for something else entirely.
Yeah.
Daniel's rock star status is built on sand, basically. And we, the audience, were let in on the secret from the get-go. It makes the inevitable crash much more, well, impactful.
Right, you know it's coming. And then into this scene walks Brother Samuel.
Ah, Samuel, the contrast.
Totally. He's this timid new convert, very nervous. He hangs back, then finally gets the courage to approach Daniel.
And he wants help, right, for a private struggle.
Yeah, he confesses really quietly about watching pornography.
Yeah.
Says, twice, maybe 3 times a week. He's clearly looking for private guidance.
But Daniel's reaction, wow, it's the opposite of private.
Not at all. He gasps, like super loudly, loud enough for the whole chorus section to turn around.
Then he leans in, asks quietly, how many times? Only to immediately bellow.
3 times, my brother, you are digging your grave with your eyes, just shouts it out.
It's brutal. Public shaming, right there. And it immediately sets up that conflict. Judging someone publicly versus offering any kind of private compassion or help.
Yeah, that contrast is just stark. It sets the whole tone, really.
Definitely. So that leads us into Act 2, the unraveling and the unveiling.
Okay, so despite the phone buzzing and everything, the public praise for Daniel somehow continues, at least initially.
Right. Pastor James is still laying it on thick, calling him a man so pure he drinks holy water instead of tea.
Which is just, wow, given what we know. And then the tension ramps up. Another phone call.
This time it rings
Yeah.
loudly
Yeah.
during the service.
And the caller ID is unmissable. Babe 3, do not ignore.
Even Pastor James looks a bit concerned this time, though he tries to smooth it over.
It shows Daniel's getting reckless,
Yeah.
right? But also maybe how much people want to believe in that perfect image.
Absolutely. There's a kind of collective denial, almost. And Daniel, he doubles down. He starts preaching this fiery sermon.
Pointing fingers, literally,
Right.
at the congregation and specifically aiming comments at Samuel.
Calling people Judases, saying he can see in the realms of the Spirit that Samuel is fighting lust. It's weaponizing his supposed spiritual insight.
And Samuel tries to speak up, doesn't he? Like, Pastor, I thought I could confide.
Yeah, he tries to say, I told you.
But Daniel just cuts him off cold. My friend, shut up. There is no secret in the realms of the Spirit. Kneel down and let me pour some anointing on you.
Oof. The humiliation for Samuel must be immense, and it just shows Daniel digging himself deeper into this hypocrisy.
It really escalates from there, showing how that kind of deceit just spirals.
It does. Then we get this really disturbing turn with Sister Grace. She's one of the babes, apparently.
Right, and she reveals she's pregnant, and she's keeping the baby.
Daniel's response is chilling. He offers her holy tea. The implication is pretty clear and horrifying.
Yeah, like some kind of spiritual cover for something sinister, and then there's a blackout in the play.
And when the lights come up, Sister Deborah has found a note in Grace's Bible.
Reading what?
If I die, Daniel, give me poison. It's heavy stuff.
Wow. So the mask isn't just slipping, it's completely shattering.
And then comes the climax of his downfall, right in the middle of a church service.
A police officer walks in, straight up to the pulpit.
Arrests Daniel on the spot for murder and fraud.
Imagine the scene. As they cuff him, his phone drops, screen up.
And everyone sees the text. Babe, meet me behind the church.
The reaction must be intense, gasps from the chorus.
Auntie Ruth faints. Pastor James's jaw hits the floor.
Even his PA, who's clearly been put through the ringer, yells after the police something like, "My mom's been looking for me. Don't worry, boss. I'll visit you in jail."
Huh. It's the total, almost darkly comedic collapse of his entire world.
Yes.
Everything built on lies just crumbles in seconds.
But then, in that moment of chaos and judgment,
But,
something unexpected happens.
right, when everyone is reeling, Samuel stands up. The guy Daniel publicly humiliated.
And he said,
He says, wait, I forgive him.
wow, just like that.
Just like that. Sister Deborah even mutters, he has serious grace. And that one act, that forgiveness, it just completely changes the energy.
It really does. It sets up the final act, doesn't it? What do you think that moment asks of us, the audience?
I think it really challenges our own impulse to condemn, especially when someone seems to deserve it. Makes you ask, could I do that? Could I offer grace when I've been wronged like that?
It's a powerful question. It suggests grace isn't just a feeling, it's an action, a choice.
Exactly. A posture, maybe.
Okay, so this takes us to Act 3, Grace in the Cell. The scene shifts dramatically.
Yeah, now we're in a jail cell. Daniel's there in an orange jumpsuit. There's a bored prison officer and a cellmate who couldn't care less.
And who shows up to visit.
Samuel.
Not to gloat, though.
No, not at all. He brings food, jollof rice,
Yeah.
apparently with both goat and turkey. A feast.
Huh. And Daniel just devours it, right? Like a starving man.
Mm-hmm. And that simple act, bringing food, kindness instead of condemnation, it speaks volumes after Daniel's earlier cruelty.
So Samuel isn't there to preach at him either.
No, he shares his own story. He tells Daniel how crushed he felt after being shamed in church. Felt like God's reject.
Right.
But then he found this sermon online. Pastor Kinsley, talking about Isaiah 33.6, God will be your stability in times of chaos.
And what did Samuel take away from that?
Something really profound. He says the message was, your shame isn't your end, it's the altar where God meets you.
Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah. He describes crying into his pillow, feeling worthless, but then feeling like Jesus was screaming louder, I still want you.
And Daniel's reaction while hearing...
He's weeping, actually weeping between bites of jollof rice.
Mm.
And finally, he breaks down and confesses.
What does he say?
I was a fraud.
Just admits it all.
And Samuel's response to that raw confession.
It's maybe the key line of the whole play. He just says, yeah, but Jesus doesn't care about your resume.
Oh, man. That hits hard, doesn't it? It cuts right through all the performance, the status, the hypocrisy. It's about grace, meeting brokenness, period. Not about what you've achieved or how good you look.
So grace isn't earned by cleaning up your act first.
Exactly. The play seems to say grace meets you in the mess. They end up praying together right there in the cell.
And then the prison officer.
Still bored. Just mutters something about throwing them in solitary if they start speaking in tongues.
Huh. Keeps it grounded, I guess.
And then a final touch of humor, the cellmate sneaks the rest of the jollof while they're praying.
Perfect. So, stepping back from the play, what's the big takeaway from this whole deep dive into Unmasked?
Well, we follow Daniel's journey from this pedestal down to prison and finding redemption from Samuel, the very person he hurt most publicly.
Yeah.
I think, bigger picture, it really pushes us to question where we look for stability, for forgiveness. Is it in the public image, the performance?
Or somewhere else?
Or is it maybe found in that messy place of vulnerability, in offering radical grace even when it feels undeserved? The play suggests that's where the real transformation happens.
So it leaves us thinking, doesn't it? What masks are we wearing? Maybe without even realizing it, out of fear or wanting to look like we have it all together,
Hmm.
and what might happen if we were willing to, uncover our real selves a bit more and
Hmm.
maybe extend that same kind of forgiveness, that serious grace Samuel showed.
Yeah, even when it's hard.
Yeah,
Could that be the path to something more genuine, more liberating, regardless of our own resume?
a provocative thought to end on.